Imagine being trapped in the freezing wilderness. No food, no help, just endless snow, and something watching you from the trees. In Native American legend, there is a creature born from starvation and greed, a spirit so powerful that once it possesses you, there is no return. It doesn't just kill its victims, it turns them into monsters. This creature is known as the Wendigo, one of the most terrifying entities in North American folklore. But what exactly is the Wendigo? A myth? A psychological condition? Or something far darker? Let's step into the frozen forest and find out. The legend of the Wendigo originates from the Algonquian-speaking tribes of North America, including the Ojibwe, Cree, and Innu peoples. These tribes lived in regions with brutal winters, areas that today include parts of Canada and the northern United States. In these environments, survival was not guaranteed. Food shortages during winter were common. Starvation was a very real threat. And within that harsh reality, the Wendigo legend was born. Unlike many mythical creatures, the Wendigo wasn't simply a monster lurking in the woods. It represented something deeper, the ultimate taboo, cannibalism. In Algonquian belief, a human who resorted to eating another human, especially during winter famine, could become possessed by the Wendigo spirit. Once possessed, they would transform into something no longer human. The Wendigo was not just a creature, it was a curse. Descriptions of the Wendigo vary slightly between tribes, but most accounts describe it as tall, emaciated, and horrifyingly thin, as if it is constantly starving. Its skin is often said to be gray or pale, stretched tightly over its bones. Some legends describe glowing eyes, sharp claws, and jagged teeth stained with blood. In more modern interpretations, the Wendigo is sometimes depicted with antlers or a deer skull, although this imagery was popularized much later through pop culture. One chilling detail remains consistent across many stories. The Wendigo is never satisfied. No matter how much it eats, it is always starving. And the more it consumes, the larger and stronger it becomes, but also more skeletal and monstrous. It is hunger without end. One of the most disturbing aspects of the legend is the idea of Wendigo possession. According to folklore, a person could become a Wendigo in several ways: committing cannibalism, being possessed by a malevolent spirit, or becoming consumed by extreme greed. Some historical accounts even describe something known as Wendigo psychosis. In rare recorded cases during the 17th to 19th centuries, individuals in northern communities reportedly developed an overwhelming urge to eat human flesh, even when other food sources were available. Anthropologists still debate whether these cases were cultural phenomena, severe psychological disorders, or misunderstood survival situations. But to the Algonquin tribes, the explanation was clear. The Wendigo spirit had taken over. And once it did, the only solution was often execution to prevent further harm. Beyond the horror, the Wendigo carries powerful symbolism. It represents greed, excess, the destruction caused by selfishness. Many modern scholars interpret the legend as a warning, not just against cannibalism, but against losing humanity during times of crisis. The Wendigo embodies what happens when survival turns into savagery, when hunger becomes obsession, when desire becomes uncontrollable. In that sense, the Wendigo is more than a monster of the forest. It is a reflection of the darkest part of human nature. Some even argue the legend evolved as a cultural safeguard, a story designed to prevent desperate communities from crossing moral boundaries during famine. Fear became protection. You might think the Wendigo belongs to ancient winter forests, but the idea of the Wendigo still appears in modern culture, from horror films to video games and television. It has become one of the most iconic figures in North American horror. Yet its core message remains disturbingly relevant. In a world driven by endless consumption, more wealth, more power, more resources, the Wendigo feels less like ancient folklore and more like a metaphor for unchecked greed. An appetite that never ends. A hunger that destroys everything around it. Maybe that's why the legend survives. Not because it hides in the forest, but because it lives within us. So what is the Wendigo really? A supernatural cannibal spirit? A misunderstood psychological condition? Or a powerful cultural warning passed down through generations? Science may never confirm the existence of a creature roaming frozen forests. But the fear behind the legend, the fear of becoming something inhuman in desperate times, is very real. And perhaps that's what makes the Wendigo so terrifying. Because unlike many monsters, it doesn't come from somewhere else. It comes from us.